Welcome back everyone to another NRG on the Amstrad CPC with another Mastertronic classic, I guess. No, it's not really a classic, it's quite mundane, this, quite muted and forgotten, this title, and it's surprisingly okay. Yes, written by Paul Bellamy. Oh, well, the art is done by Paul Bellamy. APAL Developments developed this and published it on the Mastertronic label, and it's kind of a bomb jack kind of thing. It's an interesting game with some interesting mechanics, and some of the mechanics in this are actually kind of like. It does have its shortfalls though, and we'll get into that. The first thing I want to talk about this game is that on tape, I had so much trouble loading this on a real CPC. Primarily because I believe that there is a slight bug in the header block code which directs the CPC to not start the tape deck again, which is odd. It's very odd, and I don't think I've ever come across it before in any other CPC game. But Nick from CPC Game Reviews very kindly took a look at the code and fixed it. So on emulator it's fine for some reason, but on real hardware this is a real bugger to load. Especially when it was released on a flippy tape as well. One of those Mastertronic tapes which have the Spectrum and the Amstrad versions on respectively. Anyway, let's get into the game. So we play this ex-superhero dude who's got to go into this nuclear facility. This is a nuclear facility, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is, in case you didn't notice. And do two things. A, collect these sort of bouncing capsule balls. These are fuel cells. See them yellow, little yellow balls? I've completed the first level there. I like the little transition to the next level. That's kind of cool. Unnecessary, but kind of cool. A little bit more music would be handy as well. I mean, the effects are very sparse. But anyway, we'll get onto that in a second. So these little yellow balls, you've got to get these from the launch bays where they sort of pop out of the ground. And they all stick to you, and you've got to guide them into the packing case, which is the blue and yellow box over on top here, right here, where I'm going now. And they'll pop into there. Boom. So the idea is they're supposed to be fuel cells and they're supposed to be packed away before they pose a danger, I guess. In the meantime, of course, you've got to touch all the bombs. One just exploded there. In the meantime, you've got to touch all the bombs just to defuse them. If you let them go, they will explode and they'll give you an extra dose of radioactivity. And doing that basically shortens your lifespan and kills you eventually. So there's two things to sort of do during the game. Collect these yellow balls, which I love the mechanic of the way they stick to you. So you walk past them or walk near them, and they follow you around. And I think that is quite a clever little mechanic. That I kind of think that's quite fun. So that's level 2 done. One thing about this game is it's pretty easy as well. It's not a difficult game. Probably could do a long play of this pretty easily. So yeah, so defuse the bombs, make sure they're defused. When they explode, there's a big yellow flash in the background and a big chunk of your radioactivity bar goes up. And you're also avoiding the big ball thing, the bulloid, I think they call it, the bulloid. The great big ball thing that just pops around. It kind of goes in patterns, but it's more random than anything else. Also, if it touches you, not only does it give you a dose of radioactivity, but it also detaches all the balls away from you. So all the balls that you're currently got trailing you, they'll sort of like separate from you and go off in their own directions. So to be honest, there's quite a little bit going on in this game, and it's something to get your head round, and I kind of find this quite fun. In short doses, and it is unfortunately short doses because the challenge level isn't there. It's got a real nice concept. I really like the concept of this, but if that concept was say given to us in a much more, should I say, fanciful way, a lot more thoughtful way, this game actually could have been one of those sort of like hidden gem budget games. I reckon it could have been. Like I say, the idea I think is really good. I like the mechanics of the fact that the balls will stick into you. The fact there's a lot going on, so there's a lot to think about. I kind of like the idea of it. The graphics could be considerably better. It's obviously done in mode 1 here with the 4-colour format. It's workable, it's fine, it's okay, but you know, this is the sort of game I think could have been done with a little bit more colour, certainly using a lot more split rasters. I mean, you've got a kind of split raster. No, you haven't actually. I thought that's a trick of the colour formation there. I thought it was a split raster at the bottom. There isn't. Yeah, it could have done with a bit of that. Certainly would have improved it. It certainly could have improved the bloody music and the sound effects. The sound effects are very sparse. They're there, but they're very sparse. A little bit of music would be nice. There's no reason why a little bit of music ticking along at the background would be good. And of course the challenge level could be a little bit better. Some of the level layouts are very strangely easy, especially when you get onto some of the later levels, and they're so easy you think, well, that level should have been sort of like way before then. So some of the planning that's gone into this is maybe gone on the back burner. So it could have been a lot more challenging, I'd say, especially in the later levels. A better curve of challenge. The presentation could have been better. Graphics certainly could have been better, but they're not bad as they are. I mean, they are basic and they're quite average, but they work and they move well. Everything moves really well. There's a lot of sprites going on the screen. Everything moves pretty well. So I'll give it its due credit for that. But it could have been done with a lot more improvements, and I think it's the basis of a really good game. To be honest, I would love to see a remake of this using the same idea and the same sort of mechanics that are going on, the same kind of physics, but obviously updating the sound, the graphics, the visuals, and of course the level layout on certain levels. And I think it could be an absolute winner. Kind of an inverse Bomb Jack, if you will. But Bomb Jack obviously has got the massive challenge to it, and of course the visuals to back it up. Lots of sound effects going on with Bomb Jack as well. So it's no Bomb Jack, but it is Bomb Fusion, and I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. I think it's just a slightly above average game, but I think it's quite fun. So thank you for watching this episode of NRG, and I'll see you on the next one. Novabug out. Hey, Novabug here. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please support the channel by liking and commenting, and of course subscribing if you haven't already done. If you would like to support me further, please consider joining my bug army via Patreon. And also don't forget to follow me over at Facebook, Twitter, BitChute and Twitch. And finally, a very special mention to my bug army generals Sam M, Sweet Nanette and Pete Walker. Thank you everyone for supporting me. Novabug out.